Hello guys, welcome back to our channel Dr. Mom. Today's video is a part of our live series on Instagram every weekend about Montessori at home and how we can transition to that easily. If you are new here, do subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram to catch me live there. The links are in the description box below. So welcome back to another session of Montessori at home series, and in today's talk we will be discussing about organization. Last week we had discussed about decluttering, so decluttering and organization go hand in hand. We start talking about organization. I would just like to throw light upon few of the doubts that have been asked. Most commonly asked question was how do we tackle all this thing in a joint home setup? So what do we do in joint families? How do we prevent people from being rude to us in the way we are bringing our kids? So this is a very common. We see a lot of us, most of us are staying at home with a family surrounded, and I'm sure most of them can understand when we talk to them about this, because the one main thing about any system is that we need to communicate, be it with the elders, be it with extended relatives or anybody. Most of them, if I'm sure, if you talk to them and share videos about Montessori, I'm sure they wouldn't dislike it as such. The whole approach itself is so nice that anybody will find it very attractive and alluring, and they will definitely would like to peep in and rope you in. Initially when I started, when we moved to this new home that we are staying here, I never much focused upon particular shelf areas. Montessori is very famously known for shelving, so all of us, the minute we are told about this Montessori, we think about the beautiful shelves, all the Pinterest photos, all of that come in front of our eyes. So I would time and again repeat, it is not exactly and always just about the shelves. It is also about all the different things that you set up for your home, how you prepare your home, preparing the environment. That is one major point of a triangle for being a Montessori. You have to follow the child, you have to make the environment prepared, and just observe and follow the child. So if you are good at these 3 points, then you're good at everything. And coming to back to organization and what and how we are organizing, you really don't need fancy cupboards and shelves and a lot of fancy items to just go about organizing. I basically use just cardboard boxes all around the house for everything organizing. When I take a particular shelf, particular section as such, all of them will be color coordinated with the same kind of cardboard boxes. So in the same thing, I do not own typically the cuboidal shelves for the toy storage that you always see, and I have never basically used any of the proper shelf furnitures for my kids so far, and I always wanted to use them, but I had never got it so far. And right now, just if you had seen my story, I have posted a normal IKEA tea table. It is a normal tea shelf where you can use it just as a normal in a room. I have converted that as a shelf, and I have used 2 side tables that we use routinely next to our beds. I have shifted those night tables back to the toy area, so that they also form shelf and tables for the child to work and color around. So with the basic props that you already have at your home, like anything, you do not necessarily have to go to a shop, order different kind of furnitures and fancy things. It just goes with the minimal things that you're having at home. And how I have started organizing. We first label down the toys to different sections. So what are the different kinds of toys that you're having for your kid, be it Legos, be it blocks, or the different cars, the train set, all the wooden block sets that you're having, the different figurines, animal figurines that you have, puzzles. So basically you box up everything. I have particularly used transparent food packets and food boxes that you get in the market, not exactly disposable but cheap plastic, and I got it for I can say for 100 rupees I got 5 boxes, something like this. So So these are those transparent boxes, small boxes, where it is very visible for the child. They can visualize what is inside the boxes. So what I do, the all the puzzles that we buy, the different puzzle sets that I have, I just remove it and I just put it in these boxes and keep it. So all of these are organized, and whenever the kid wants to take out any of the particular item that he wants to play with, they just scan through the boxes. It keeps them focused, and there is not all this tension for them, like they get frustrated now, like they have to keep searching. By their time they lose their attention, they lose their concentration, and they move on to something else. So for the child to be more attentive, things like this, clear boxes, clear containers, they are going to play a very major role for them to be sorted out. So this is what I use. They are very cheap, and I just put all my puzzles and all the flashcards. Basically for flashcards, another system that I found effective was using Ziploc bags. So having Ziploc bags is like saves the space, and it is easy. You just put a full packet of thing, like for example the occupation set of flashcards in one thing, the alphabets in one thing. So whichever topic you are discussing with the child that particular day, you can just take out that particular Ziploc and open it and start using it. So this is what I do, use most of the time, clear containers and Ziploc bags. The other options that you can use is when you're starting to categorize, you just have to like think outside the box. You just need not think you just need that particular shelf all the time. You can just buy anything and you just reframe it and upcycle it and use it in your own understanding, in your own homes, how you feel it comfortable. So what I did was, like I said, I have been using cardboard boxes and tape it down and cover it with different colors. And next sessions we are going to have about how setting up each spaces of the home according to the Montessori alignment. So how we are going to set our bathrooms, restrooms, how we are going to set our wardrobe, how we are going to set our bedrooms, how we are going to set our kitchen, our laundry, and the most important, the play area. So each of it, how we are going to set up each of these places in our homes to accommodate our kids. So this is exactly what we are going to focus upon. And then there were questions people had asked me, and what do I do when people keep randomly gifting me? So I am sure you must be one lucky person when somebody is just randomly gifting you a lot of toys for your kids. But like again and again I say, just talk to them. Nothing works more better than being spoken to. So when you talk to people and tell them and explain them what you are into, and you just tell them ki no, and you give them your wish list, like I discussed in the previous video, there are certain particular items that you'd want to buy but waiting for some kind of offer or some kind of discount, so you wouldn't shop it then and there. So what I would suggest is, like wait for the time when people are going to ask you like what kind of gift they want to give, and that is when you share your wish list with them and things like that. What initially I had done, I had set up different places of our hall, like in the different corners of the hall I had set up different stations, wherein when the child wanted to work upon sensory activities, he had to go to that particular table and play. So when they wanted to play with the blocks, they had to go to the other end of the hall. So that's how I started. I just kept it in different corners of the hall for them to sit in one place and explore, making each of it a different organization zone for themselves. But now I have shifted everything to the playroom for almost 6 months. Like I said, the last decluttering which had happened in July, I had shifted everything to a playroom. We had set up proper playroom, but it was not completely Montessori aligned like the typical shelf. So we didn't have the typical shelving system until now that I am working upon the shelves. So what I used was the drawer system. The drawer system worked for us very effectively. I actually labeled each drawers. Our shelf had around 6 drawers, so every shelf was labeled. Like we had a shelf for puzzles, we had a shelf for maths, we had a shelf for language, literature, and separate for Arabic and Hindi, and we had a shelf for all the DIYs that they have access to all the time. They can just pick it up and do whatever they want. So that's how I was working upon the shelves. The shelf system initially did not work out in the first couple of weeks. Not in the first week, you can see they just emptied all the drawers. I was sharing those photos and videos over the stories. All the drawers will be out. They just used to pull it out and just play randomly, not understanding which item to play with when. So that was a mess initially, but slowly we just started talking out and telling you cannot have all of it. So just you play things from one drawer. When you take anything from one drawer, you just take it out and play. The reason I wanted to make it drawer system was, like since I had labeled it, I wanted the child to decide. Like if they opened the max drawer, they had to decide whether they wanted to play with the shape sorter, they wanted to play with the stacking toys, they want to play with counting or matching puzzles of numbers. So I had given them the liberty to choose. But then what I found was they just pulled down the whole of the drawers and they mixed all the toys, and then they were again at a mess key what to do. They were not understanding. And after few days, like after a week itself, it became so much better. Then after some time it became more better, and they just understood that they have to just play with one toy. So I used to sit with them and talk with them and ask them like what is their interest to play right now, or what do you feel like playing right now, we can play together. So sitting with them helped me sort out all that drawable mess. So that's how it eventually evolved and became better. So that's how it happened with the drawers. And so now we have moved to shelf, wherein like I really do not have proper trays. I'm just keeping the normal shelf items, the normal toys, and along with that some bowls and some containers to contain the toy that they have to play with. So this is how we are having. And I'm having the drawer again, like I said, a nightstand wherein the counter is clear so that the child can work upon. And I'm going to have 2 drawers per kid. So what they're going to do with those shelf is just take out the drawers and take out things that they want. Again, it is labeled like English and language, so they I mean max and language, so they just have to take one activity and sit and do. So the organization is still in process. The decluttering was almost complete for the toys, so just the organization part of it. And yeah, so when you come to organization, what I found particularly effective was labeling. When you label it out, for kids you just cannot always label with wordings now, because they're not going to read, they're not going to understand. So what is going to work out best with kids is that you can just stick pictures. So when there are blocks, you can stick pictures with blocks. You just find a lot of free templates on Google. You can just take printouts of them and just stick it up across them. And another thing that I'm working right now is upon the rhythm charts that I have downloaded, and I have actually laminated, and I'm just waiting to stick it across the different kinds of the different places of our homes. Like rhythms make is set routines, no, that is one of our workshop topics about top rhythms and routines, how we are following all of it. So we are using the rhythms and routines, so that helps in easy transition for the kid for moving from one phase to another. Though so far particularly I have not faced any kind of difficulty in following rhythms with them. We have been following right from the start. I have not been very strict with the routine as such, but the rhythms I try to maintain, like this should follow that, that should follow that, they are clear. But then I just found this very fancy little rhythm chart, so I'm going to just take it into our homes and stick it around and use them. So that's the idea about rhythm charts that we are planning. And next what I wanted to talk is about the play area as such, like how we have organized it. And I'll be showing you a tour of our playroom very soon when it's up and ready. And for those of you who missed the previous video, please do check out our YouTube channel. Finally set up a proper play area. That's the first step I would even suggest you. If you feel that you have a particular spot at your home where you can dedicate a particular space for your toys, then be it. You just try to define your play zone so that the child can understand that this is a PlayStation, this is a workstation, and this is a bedroom. We particularly never allow the kid to take the toys to the room. I have seen a lot of kids, they just take it to the room. And bedroom is supposed to be meant to take a nap, to sleep, not to bring in the toys here. And again, the child will want to go play with it, and they will find it hard to fall asleep. Okay, unless and until you have some few kids who will just want to hug the toy and sleep. So most of the time it is like putting them to making them difficult to sleep, basically it is like making it a hard time for the child to sleep with all the toys around. They just want to play. So that is one thing we have been very strict right from the start. We do not allow toys in the room. We tell them this is not the place for toys have a separate place. So that's what Maria Montessori said, no, one thing, main important sentence that she said: everything has a place and everything to its place. So you tell the child, or better than telling, show the child. You show that everything in your house has a space, has a place. When you take it from there, you keep it back there. Okay, so this is about keeping and defining a play area so that the toys are contained in that zone and they do not travel all around the house. Literally 1 or 2 exception is fine once a while, but not regularly, routinely. And then second thing is limit the number. Whenever there is a possibility of limiting down, scaling down the toys, do it. Especially when there are doubles of a toy, like you have the same set, like same kind of building blocks 2 3, or same kind of cars. Try to scale down, like you just upscaling again and again and just up cluttering the whole thing that you have just decluttered. So do that and be realistic, and just focus. Just imagine the child cannot focus on so many things at all the time, and they cannot play with all the toys effectively. Just if you have 3-4 toys in front of them for a day is enough for them to completely understand, not get bored, and being bored also is a very important thing. Boredom itself is going to lead to creativity in kids. So just be realistic, and just don't flood their rooms, flood their toy zones with a lot of toys. Just try to be as minimalistic in your approach as possible. So this is one thing. Another thing is like sort and store. Like I always keep telling you, sort it out. Every different thing, different boxes, different bins. And one more thing that I wanted to tell about the containers is avoid buying anything that is like a very huge and bulkier, like proper buckets or very big bins, because ultimately what is going to happen is the toys are going to be stuffed inside, and again going to lead to the same process of the child's confusion and frustration when they have to dig through deep through to find a particular toy. So again it is going to get cluttered. So just, even if you buy baskets, get small baskets that can contain all of it. So this is about the different kinds of storage boxes that you can get. And then use toy shelf. So that's what I said, we are trying the toy shelf first time, so I will just tell how it is working out with us. Since we have used the drawer mode of it previously, I'm just looking forward to the open system to work for us too. And then fast and easy cleanup is only possible with less toys. So you just do, there's another routine that I followed for some point of time when they were extremely cranky. In some, I just left them play with all the toys, and after few days I just changed the situation to using the cleaning process twice a day. Like just before the lunch and just before dinner. So before lunch and before dinner, that everything has to be clean, and then you just come to sit to eat. So that is one system that worked for me. But right now we are just focusing on just one kind of system, that is just cleaning up before going to bed. So that has been a complete hit for us, and we do not have any issues with it so far. I always keep telling, they're so cooperative, alhamdulillah. They just help me out in all the cleaning process, and touch wood. And we generally see things, we just keep things out of reach for kids, like what we do not want them to get access to, like chocolates or some fancy things that we just, the things that they can break, we just keep it out of reach. So what I wanted to tell is, in Montessori we keep everything in the reach for the children. So even when you're organizing things, keep it in a way that is organized in low level areas where the child can see, which is in the height of the child, so it is easy for the child. And then establish rules, not very hard rules like hard and fast that the child has to do. Things like which can be flexible enough for them to be entertained in a proper way. Not too much of strictness is not allowed, and too much of freedom also is not allowed. You need to be mediocre, you need to be in that middle place where you can feel that acha, this can work out for us, this cannot work out for us. You need to know certain rules can be bent and certain cannot be. So it is you ultimately who's going to decide, depending upon the rules and regulations of your own homes. Each of us follow different traditions, we have different liberty outcomes. So when you're clear of what you want to do for your kid, that's when you want to do it. And then above all of it stands first is safety. So just see to that the atmosphere, the environment is safe enough for the kid to move around and play around without any kind of difficulty, and let them enjoy the process. Let them just don't make it a burden upon yourself when you're just too much of organization, and don't burden the child also with a lot of rules and a lot of organization tips. Just be calm and composed, and just try to just take it one day at a time. I always say, when I'm asked how do you handle two kids, I just think I never think long term. I just try to think one day at a time, how can I pass this day without any kind of major debacles for the day. So we just try to concentrate on one day at a time, what I want to do for that particular day, how I want to be organized. I'm a person who's extremely organized, like right from my school days. I think I inherited from my parents. I just sort out everything, organize everything, and I'm just trying to do it even here right now when I'm alone. I just try to organize everything, all the tasks that I do, my work related, everything. There are like hundreds of to-do lists that are running around my apps all the time. So that becomes overwhelming at times, but some mediocreness of that is also necessary for us to maintain a life without any much of difficulty. Because when you know what is going to happen next, same for the kid, when they know what is going to happen next, they are more prepared, they know how to deal with the situation, they know how to proceed in life further. They do not have to get stuck at one point, at one place, and think this is not working out, that is not working out, what will come next. So we do have a lot of ups and downs in life, lot of different things, but when everything is organized, it makes the bumps easier. So that's how I felt and realized. And I think we are done for the session for today. And certain questions I have left unanswered, I shall put it up in the video for the YouTube channel there. Because inshallah in the next video, like I said, we will be talking about setting up different spaces, and after that we will be talking about setting up activities, how we are setting all our activities. So guys, let me know. And if you do like the content, do definitely comment back and say, and do like our videos, and do subscribe to the channel and share this video with all your friends who might find this useful. Thank you guys. Have a good day.